NCAA, but that fact hasn't been reflected in the organization's bottom line. According to an audited financial statement, the association, the NCAA has surpassed over $1 billion in annual revenue in 2017, the first time they've eclipsed this benchmark. Last week, NCAA President Mark Emmert said he's hopeful the scandals will result in major rule changes, but said schools paying players is likely a non-starter. On the happy note, we bring in an always happy face, Seth Greenberg. What's going on?
Life is good here in Brooklyn. The snow is gone. The streets are clear. We got 4 great games. Look, no matter what's going on, the games are always great. They have been and they always will be.
No question, Seth. I'm with you on that. I know you're loving being there at the Barclays Center, which everything tips off right after us. But what's your reaction to schools paying players is being considered a non-starter?
Well, you know, here's the thing. I don't believe that players are employees. When you say paying the players, I never looked at any guy that played for me as an employee. Can we do more for the athletes? Yes, we can. Is it the NCAA's obligation to do that? No. It's the individual institution. Me personally, yeah, that's revenue, but what's their expenditures? We'll get into that later. But to me, the best thing for us to do, if we want to solve some of these problems, we need to go to the Olympic model. The Olympic model is proven, and it works. And also, when you adopt the Olympic model, you don't have to deal with Title IX. So all of a sudden, now you're giving these athletes a chance for representation. They can use their likeness. They can create revenue. Not every player is the same in your locker room. And that way you solve a lot of the problems that right now potentially are federal crimes. You eliminate all those crimes by giving these players a chance for representation, use their likeness, you deal with Title IX, and at least that's a starting point.
Coach, I appreciate your comments, but you and I have butted heads on this in the past in obviously a very friendly manner. Here's my thing. I've been on a record stating that there needs to be a players' association, a student-athletes association per se, where the athletes have representation, and a lot of this stuff could be addressed. But here's my question to you. I don't understand what's a problem in a capitalistic society where we recognize everybody's not equal. There are haves and have-nots. Just because players need to be compensated doesn't mean that they need to be compensated to the same degree. So if you've got a marquee guy that's a box office draw and a superstar, or a program that's a superstar program, why not pay them more and just pay? Some people get paid more, some people get less, some people only get their scholarship because they're not revenue generators. What's wrong with deciphering that, since the NCAA has proven this is all about business?
Well, here's the deal, Stephen A. If you go to the Olympic model, that's exactly what is going to happen. What's going to happen is the very best players will potentially on field.
I think we're having some technical difficulties here with Seth, guys. Max, you want to jump in here?
Well, I would say the Olympic model is also exploitative. I mean, I know everyone gets this is the game that the Olympics run. For love of country, go out and work your whole life to be on this enormously profitable TV show, but we're not going to pay the athletes. I think that, you know, I have a problem with that too. But at any rate, the amateur model or the college model, at the very least what they can do, and this is someone sent in some video for our Facebook stuff, JoJo John of Dallas, she said, why not at least pay them according to the round of the tournament they're in? And I would just add, you can tie that to revenue or even profit if you must. The point is, if you're in the first round, you get X number of dollars. You advance, you get more, you know, X plus whatever, up until the top. And what that number is can be tied to the revenue generated, because I have news for everyone. You can talk all you want about expenditures for the NCAA, for different institutions. Everyone's making money. I'm making money off the tournament right now by talking about it. We're all involved. The NCAA, the institutions, the networks, everyone's getting rich off this stuff except for the people actually providing the entertainment, except for the athletes. So all the excuses in the world why they shouldn't be paid are just excuses.
Well, I'm one of those guys, Max, coming from this mindset. I believe it would be significantly less of a problem if hypocrisy wasn't a part of the equation. The fact that these guys don't get paid and compensated, it's a problem. We get all of that, and we understand that. But I think when you see the money being raked in by the NCAA tournament, the money that the NCAA is ultimately able to generate revenue-wise, the fact that you know whether it's a coach, it's administrators, it's officials for the NCAA. What, everybody's making the same salary? Nobody's profiting off of this? That's nonsense. Everybody appears to be getting theirs but the athletes themselves. If it were not for that hypocrisy, even though there would still need to be a system implemented to address these concerns, it wouldn't be the level of urgency that gets attached to it now. It's the fact that there's such hypocrisy in all of this that has raised all of our proverbial eyebrows and has made us say, wait a minute, enough, because you guys are getting away with robbery here.
I want to switch gears here, guys.
That's exactly right.
Oh, go ahead, Max. If you had more, do you have more to say on this one?
Well, I was just going to say that's exactly right, and that's what's at the heart. It's not just that it's hypocritical. I agree with that. There's also an inherent contradiction in profiting from amateur competition. In other words, there should be a place for amateur competition and collegiate competition, and people are interested in that partly because it is amateur, partly because it at least has the veneer of amateurism and the idea that people are competing for the love of competition and representing these institutions before they are adult, before they have worldly concerns. It is, purely for that kind of, where we're looking for that purity, right? I understand that, and if people are interested, that eventually a camera will be pointed at it, and commercial time will be sold, and that's the problem. The very reason people are interested is the reason it will be commercialized, and at that point, you really should pay the people involved. But once you do that, you undermine the whole system. So it is hypocrisy, but it's more than that. It's a paradox.
Yeah, before we move on to the tournament here, Seth is back. Seth, thank you for hanging tight with us. I want to let you to get the last word on this subject before we change gears.
Max, you're killing me. So you're only going to pay guys if they get to the NCAA tournament. And you're going to pay them as they advance in the NCAA tournament. All that other stuff is insignificant. If you want to pay him, then just pay him. But you know what? You can't just separate it for the NCAA tournament. To me, it really is simple. You guys are talking about solutions. The solution is very simple. You start with the Olympic model. And let me tell you something. The advertisements and the marketing and the things of that nature that those Olympic athletes get, especially the Winter Olympians, all right, that is significant if you are good. So the good players will separate themselves by using the Olympic model. If you watch the Olympics this year, the guys that had the national ads were usually the people that, had the highest profile. It would work.
Seth, let me get your take on this. So one of the year's biggest stories, obviously Trae Young, Oklahoma, and they might have ruined their shot at the NCAA tournament last night, losing in the first round of the Big 12 tournament to Oklahoma State and falling to 18-13 on the season. So before the game, Joe Lunardi had the Sooners as one of his first 4 out. Seth, should Oklahoma still make the tourney?
They're not an NCAA tournament team in this moment in time, the way they're playing. Look, they built up their resume early in the season with some quality wins. But you know what? They're not alone. Florida State's not an NCAA tournament team the way they're playing right now and what they've done in the last 3 weeks. Arizona State's in the same category. So right now in this moment in time, no, they're not an NCAA tournament team because in a lot of ways they're allergic to defense. They check no one. Here's the problem. Who do you put in? The bubble is so soft. Who do you put in? Do you put in Nebraska, who won 13 games in the Big Ten? Who do you put in their place?
Seth, hold on for a second, Coach Greenberg, my buddy, my pal. I heard something that's got me percolating. My spidey senses are tingling, Seth Greenberg. Are you is that your way of saying that because of Trae Young, even though we've lost 8 of our last 10 going into the DAG conference tournament, even though we don't play any defense and we've got a below 500 record in our conference because of Trae Young, we got to put these boys in the NCAA tournament? Is that what you're saying, Seth Greenberg?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you shouldn't put them in the NCAA tournament. Come on, Stephen, hey, pay attention here. I'm saying they have not earned.
And that's spidey senses.
All right, hey, my take on Oklahoma is, look, they've been a great story, and Trae Young has been fun to watch. In the end, winning is important. That's why I think Jalen Brunson or Graham is the Wooden Award winner for college basketball. In the end, you've got to win games, and Oklahoma has not won games. They won them early on, but their team in this moment in time and in the last 3 weeks, they're not a tournament team. You got to check someone.
All right.
Yeah, listen, Ben Simmons didn't make the tournament either. He's only the best rookie in like a decade. So just because you have Trae Young, even if he winds up as a successful pro, I don't see how you get that team in the tournament right now.
Let me go this at you. Markelle Fultz didn't play in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
Ben Simmons didn't play in the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
Colin Sexton's might not. Trae Young might not. As you go down, Dennis Smith didn't. Here's the deal. All those one-and-done guys, if you want to play in the NCAA tournament, you better go to a place where there's another guy with you, because then you have a chance to make the tournament.
No question. So Seth says no Oklahoma, no Arizona State, no Florida State in this year's tournament. Seth Greenberg, you behave yourself at the Barclays Center in BK.
He's not going to do that, Molly. He's in Brooklyn.
I'm in New York City. I'm a New Yorker. Come on now. I'm going to get some pizza, hang out, watch some ball.
You better eat good. Seth, you're the best. Thank you. Up next, Mark Cuban's recent troubles have been well documented on and off the court as of late. We'll ask the fellas what kind of long-term effect this may have on him, and what impact will the Michael Bennett and Alex Ogletree trades have on the NFC East this season? The guys will weigh in.